Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the League of Inches podcast, Supercoach edition, finals week 2. Two teams have said goodbye. Luckily, in the Supercoach space, that doesn't happen because could have said goodbye to a few of us over the last weekend. Unfortunately, overthought the room. Didn't get got some okay scores. Could have gone better, but let's just put it that way. Jesse, how's things, mate?
Yeah, good. Pretty good. Week's gone quick, hasn't it? It's footy was over and then it was
Always
just
does
all of a
this
sudden
time of
it's
year.
Tuesday. Yeah, all of a sudden it's Tuesday and I'm thinking, shit, I've got to reset my team and do all this again. So I think time's just flying now. It's getting to that point of the year and everything's becoming just jumbled up, but things are going well. How about you?
Not bad, mate. Not bad.
Good.
Been better, been worse. You know, you sit in that flotation device stage at the moment. So finals football, though, we had a couple of killer games, which I absolutely loved watching. Trav, how's things, mate?
Yeah, really well. 100 days till Christmas on the countdown. I love Christmas, favorite time of the year. Let's go. Supercoach wise, it never stops. I'm bloody thankful for finals NRL Supercoach. That's all I can say.
I'm glad one of us can say that here. So let's pump up. Shout out, obviously, the sponsors as well, Caxton Street Brewing Company and Con from Freedom Finance Group. Appreciate all the support that they give our page to get you guys what we continue to do on a week-to-week basis. Let's talk about results. Let's talk about our results, boys. Go around the room. We normally go lowest to highest, and I have actually, I do know what Jesse got, and I know what Trav got as well because there's a funny story behind this. Trav, off you go. Go first.
Okay, I got 882. Haven't a clue. Can't remember what now. I'll just go into my game day. But I was going to say, because I've already made the changes, so I don't.
The app's not great at the moment.
Can't remember what I had last week. I had Harry Grant. I had Haas in the front row, Preston in the second row, Clear at halfback. I had Strange at 5'8". I had Meaney in the wing, which let me down. I had Teddy at the fullback, which let me down. And I had the VC on Walsh, which was a great call. Walsh was huge. I captained Cleary, VC'd Walsh. So the captain Cleary kind of hurt a little bit. And not having a couple of people that I said I was going to have. I said I was going to pick Hudson Young, and I thought, no, I'll do something different because I reckon he'll be pretty highly owned. And I went Preston, and that cost me with a 43. I was really keen on watching Grant just absolutely dominate. And I thought Grant was really good, but just not that dominating force that I thought for Supercoach he would be. And so that hurt me as well. So, yeah, but an 882 is not too bad. I think, what was the best score? 1,050-ish? 1,053? 140 odd? Yeah, so 160 off. It's not too bad.
Yeah, there were some pretty decent scores, and shout out to our comp, which I'll give a shout out to in a minute. We had one of those big dogs in our little group, which was awesome to see.
1,084 is the best score.
Ooh, wow. 84. Wow.
Massive. Look out.
Huge.
Funny enough, I actually got 882 as well. So there you go, 882. And my shocker of the week was the Aaron Clark play. So had him obviously in the Classic. I sort of hold a little special place to Aaron Clark. Had him for a long time, and I thought he would just be doing everything last weekend, but it just didn't really translate into Supercoach points, unfortunately. And watching other players out there, but I probably was never going to own Katoa because I was bigger on Grant and Munster, so that one sort of went through the keeper. But I didn't have a single Raider, which I was so big on the Raiders. And I got to the day and I'm like, why the hell haven't I gone any Raiders in my team? And it just sort of got me in. And I was like, all right, Hudson Young was such an obvious choice looking back on it, and just way overthought. And I had Hudson Young in my original side for so long throughout the season. So spewing, I overthought that one and went a little bit different there. But hey, it is just about having a bit of fun, the finals. And I think we all had a few of those plays and it didn't quite come off. But yeah, 882 means we're all very, very close. Because Jesse, how'd you go?
I scored 891, so just slightly more. I had Brayley with the 69.
Had to beat us. Had to beat us again.
It's just natural, isn't it? It just flows. Yeah, I had, what was it? Brayley was the hooker. 69 was good. I had Haas. I had Eli Katoa. Again, he was that dude that I was saying I was always having Eli Katoa. Ended on 110, so that was, his best in position, which was good. Cleary captain, not the greatest, not the worst. I had Blaze Talungi as my 5'8", flexed out. Nothing really went on there at all. Meany as my center, again, played that fullback card. Didn't work out. And again, look at them too. Like, Mark was the best one. Karaz did good. That's the obvious plays. You know what I mean? It's one of those outthink the room, go for a pod unnecessarily. Just didn't pay off, but is what it is. And then the fullbacks, Teddy Walsh in the flex, VC'd Walsh. So it was all right. It was mainly just it was the Meany play that could have probably got another 50 points if I had to just pick the obvious guy, and had Meany's position in the Storm lineup itself free up. I would have had Munster instead of Blaze, which would have been significantly better. So yeah, all in all, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, I think it's just one of those cases of, we were looking into the stats. There was a couple of players stat-wise that really did pay off. I was really high on Walters last week. He got 89. But again, made the same point. Is it worth not having Haas and Walsh to have Walters in your team? Probably mathematically, no. But he still scored really well. So, if you went that route, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, I think it was more so just pick the best players and not really, die on the hill of stats and who's got the best, positional matchup. The best players are the best players for a reason. So, Supercoach 101.
I can't believe you pipped us again. It just has to happen, doesn't it? So.
Get used to it.
Should
be by now,
weeks, we got 3 more weeks.
That's
we'll
right.
Get
Plenty of
we'll
time.
get you.
What are you ranking? What's your overall?
Oh, how do I even look at the overall here?
It's in the finals main page. It says it at the top. Overall rank. Mine's 21,395.
Trav, what do you got? Because I'm struggling.
Fill the gap of awkward silences.
Yeah,
23,939.
Well, we're in the top 40. I'm in the top 43%. So that's pretty congested.
At least
Talk
you're
about
under
like
200 points away. I'm
Yeah.
200 points away. 202 off the top.
I'd be the same as Trav, 23,939. So
exactly. Yeah, there'd be a lot of people on the same score with the teams that we got. But
that's sad. That's sad seeing that far down. We're in it. How many's actually playing it? It doesn't even tell us. Oh well. See, we'd have to be. We're in the lower half. There we go. We'll celebrate that. That's a good little win for us. For our little competition we've got going, the leader of that one, shout out to Subscriber is his name. Kent Be Stopped. I better say that slowly because that could really get me in a bit of trouble. So Kent Be Stopped, 1,040. So really not far off the top there at all. So very good chance that he basically had everyone right in every position and probably just got the cap seal device or something slightly not wrong because it's such a good score, but just slightly fumbled somewhere and just got him onto that lower part of obviously not getting the highest score. So that's an incredible score to get all so many things right. But just a little off story before we get stuck into some of the TLT, things like that. Jesse, we were talking off air and you were basically just saying like it was a week where overthinking the room was probably the worst thing to do because it was almost ended up being a pretty straightforward week.
Yeah, 100%, man. I remember when the finals series opened up what was it, round 24, 5, something like that. It was, towards the end of the season. And I just went in there and built the team immediately. And it was just the best possible team you could make because, no budgets, going hard, Brayley, Haas, Katoa, Cleary, Munster, Karaz, Teddy Walsh. I think that was the team. That was pretty much the high scoring team. Well, very, very close too. And then obviously, we do what we do and try and get cute with it and then lose points. But had I just left the team from a month ago, it'd be very, very much higher ranked. So looking at Kent Be Stopped as well, it was pretty much that. He had Strange over Munster in that same lineup and Mark in his centres. Captained Walsh, VC'd Mark. It was almost as good as you could get. So, yeah, there's not a lot to it. You know what I mean? There's not really a lot to it. Percentage-wise, these players are the most owned. So like at the moment, looking at the overall percentage rankings, I'm in the top 43%. I would imagine that the next, 10,000 players are within 10 points of me as well. So yeah, it's really tight. You just got to try and go potty. But again, we tried last week, and the obvious answer was get the best dudes. This could be the week.
Hey, we'll hold on to that. We'll just keep going every week, and surely one week we'll get it right. We'll just be like, yeah, we told you the pods this week. It'll be all good. So, TLT, let's get stuck into it. So the first game, the Raiders against the Sharkies, Saturday, 7:50 p.m. For the Raiders, no changes at all for the side that went down after winning that game twice. Absolutely crazy scenes. We discussed it at length for our review show. If you haven't already, go check that out. But that was absolutely incredible game of rugby league, but no changes. Ricky is held loyal, which I completely understand. For the Sharkies, Tom Hazelton is listed amongst the reserves as he looks to return from his knee injury. But again, at the moment, it'd be very hard for Fitzy to change a winning team, and they have been really good the last 2 weeks, the Sharks. So I know Hazelton is a gun. He's done a lot of great things for the Sharks over the last couple of years, but I tell you, their bench did a really good job on the weekend. So very hard to find a way for him to come in and tell one of those, probably Kafusi, that he'll miss out on the spot. Anything Supercoach related that you boys would like to talk about for this game?
Well, I suppose we probably should, considering there's only 2 games. It'd make for a pretty boring pod if there was nothing to discuss.
Hopefully there's something.
Yeah. Look, it's funny. Like, the Sharks beat the Roosters last week, and I'm still so cold on any Sharks. Like, I just have no faith in them. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just history and, everything that they seem to do when it comes to finals. But positionally, matchup-wise, Mulatalo obviously stood up last week really well. I'm kind of keen on him a bit this week as a bit of a smoky, to be fair, positionally as well. Going up against, would it be Tamale? Would be his. No, it would be Jed. He'd be up against Jed, wouldn't it, this week?
Yes, he's Jed. Yeah.
Yeah, see, something like that. Like, geez, that's a nice matchup for Mulatalo in general. Even Iro as well, because you probably have Tomoko inside him. I would say he's pretty solid. I really like the Mulatalo shout, to be fair. But yeah, it's hard. Like, I'm still going to run with Brayley. I'm still going to go for, that position, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a bit tricky trying to pick one. And then as far as the forwards go, shit, Young and Tarpany, they're both just solid as anything. So some good stuff this game. The Raiders more appealing than I think the Sharks are personally. But I'd like to see Trav's point.
Just quickly before Trav, I'll just say one thing that has changed for this week. Last week was a 2-person player limit. This week it's 3, so you're allowed to get an additional player from each side.
Yeah, and your captain VC is the same. I'm super keen on Mulatalo. However, I think I haven't looked at the team list. I've literally gone from work to hence to coming here. So I haven't looked at the teams, but I'm pretty sure Mulatalo's is not against Stewart. It's Katoa, isn't it? Katoa will be playing against Stewart. Right versus left.
Katoa's right.
Katoa's right.
Katoa's
so
right,
the left.
which will
I
be
thought Tamale's a left winger.
Yeah.
And then Sebastian Chris would be inside him.
Yeah.
Either way, so I still think even if it is on the other side, I'm still super keen on Mulatalo. If Mulatalo can do what he did against Marky Mark, I think he can do it against both the Raiders' edges. The one thing that that lets the Raiders down is their edge defense. In my opinion, it's about the only sort of big weakness, or not weakness, that they've got. So in terms of Supercoach wise, so yeah, Mulatalo for sure. I'm also really keen on Iro. Iro was very close on the weekend. He was super close to getting through it on a couple of line breaks. He was close to a couple of tries. Yeah, he did a really good job. I'm super keen on that. I am not keen at all on Weeks. The Sharks are the fullback killers. So they do really well, and fullbacks just haven't been scoring very well against the Sharks recently. So I'm not keen on Weeks, although Weeks played really well last week. And for the Raiders to be in this game, I think Weeks has shown how good he needs to play. So yeah, maybe it's one of those odd ones where that fullback sort of steps up here in terms of Weeks, because he is so quick and elusive. I also really like Ethan Strange as a bit of a smoky in this one as a 5'8". And there's a couple of good 5'8" options this week, but I like Ethan Strange, and I was pretty happy with Strange's 61 last week. I didn't think he really did that much. He still popped up for a 61. A bit more attack from Strange this week should see a few extra points. I really like that. And then obviously there you've got your obvious ones in Tarpany. I think your front row forward battle this week's interesting. I think it's a Tarpany versus AFB. Do you want to pick? There's no one from the Bulldogs I'm interested in, but there's maybe one from the Panthers. So it's be an interesting choice in the front row forward and who picks this week.
For those thinking about it or trying to go differently, is there any thoughts about AFB out there? Do I send the little messages out to the universe that come back? I keep wanting to. The last month and a half, I've wanted to do something with AFB.
Yeah, I haven't really been warming up to AFB this season, to be honest with you. He's had patches here and there, games where he's done all right, but then it just goes back to that same, plodding along sort of point a minute kind of thing. And the minutes just don't seem to really be there. But he only needs a try. And it can happen. The Raiders middles are good. They've been solid Horsburgh, Tarpany. It's a lot of work for them to get through the middle. If it's going to go, I would imagine it's going to go out wide, and then you're just not going to see those points through AFB. But I would back the Raiders guys to have the points on the edge anyway. But yeah, I think when it comes to the front row forwards this week, we don't have that obvious play. There isn't the Haas to just stand out and go, done. This is easy. Between Taps, Lindsay Smith, Fanua Blake on a bit of a shout. I would say the most consistent and reliable would just be Tarpany, and just sort of get your 65, 70. Ideally, he does something a bit more and gets his offload out and gets a few more points. I think that's as good as front rowers will go this week.
I actually really like AFB. He's currently sitting on my team. I watched last week. I watched that game. AFB was good, but not superior. I think there's a big lift in what the Sharks can do this week. I think they've got to lift very heavily to go against the Raiders. I think it'll be on the back of him. Rudolph was great last week, and he has, to be fair, Rudolph's actually been really good. Shout out to Sabs. Sabs was very keen on him last week and how important he was to the Sharks, and he showed on the weekend at that exact point. I just don't think Rudolph's going to be able to do it against the Raiders. It's just doesn't really fit. I think AFB will just be that guy this week, and I can see AFB going nuts.
Yeah. I've got my eye on him. I'm not sure if I'll make the play, but I definitely do. One final one I want to quickly talk about is the hooker position, because the battle here is absolutely sensational, both on a rugby league perspective, but also Supercoach, because over the weekend, Starling got a 79 and looked fantastic from any way you looked at it. And Brayley was just as consistent as ever, 69. Felt like he maybe was a little bit more quiet than he has been in the past, but still really good. Just from what he's had of himself over the last couple of months, he maybe wasn't quite there. But 10 points in finals, we've just seen it between our little battle here, where if we had that extra 10, either of us would have beat Jesse on the weekend. So 10 points is a lot at this time of year with this game. So that could be a crucial little pick as well. I think at the moment, it's safe to say maybe we've all got probably Brayley in our side. But Starling, and going off last week and just what he's been doing, it's definitely there's a temptation there, Jesse.
There is, yeah. Starling's obviously got that sort of hot hand, and he can make points very quickly when he gets going. I think when it comes down to this, head-to-head kind of thing with Brayley versus Starling, I see Paddy on the bench, and I just go, he's going to lose minutes. And straight off the jump, I'd just rather get the guy that's doing 80, who's been scoring better consistently for longer. But they're against each other, so it's someone's got to outscore the other, and there's every chance Starling just goes bang bang, and puts someone through, and then he's off after 55, 60 minutes, and he's finished on 80 points like he's done many times this year. So yeah, I personally, I'm just going to go for the consistency, the 80 minutes, the bread and meat and potatoes kind of thing as far as the hookers go. But yeah, honestly, you could really go a bit rogue with it for sure.
Yeah, I forgot to mention as well, he played 85 minutes on the weekend, not 80. So he got a little extra minutes there, Starling. But yeah, I think Ricky decided because it was getting so close to leave him on, which it could happen again. Like I reckon he's shown some faith in Paddy, but at the same time, he knows Starling's their number one man at the moment. So if it is quite close, I reckon Starling ends up playing the game, if not 78 minutes or something. And he goes, "Oh, Paddy, go on and tackle your ass off for a couple of minutes for us and just get the job done." So, Trav, what are you thinking about because I know you've been quite big on both of these hookers at certain points throughout the year.
Yeah, I love both of them. I think, and this may be wrong because the game was that good that I wasn't 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that Starling went off, Paddy came on for his under 10 minutes, and it was like at the time when the Broncos started to take over. And I'm pretty sure he got ripped straight back off and Starling came back on. I reckon that may be wrong. I'm actually pretty confident that I've got that. Is it? I think it is.
He came on at the last bit of extra time. Literally, Starling played through the 85 minutes and then came off just into the second part of the extra time.
Because I remember watching Starling early.
But anyway, he came off the 85th.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, well, that was wrong then. But either way, I thought Starling was fantastic on the weekend. I thought he was really good. And the Sharks aren't the Broncos. I think the Sharks have a pretty good record against for Supercoach hookers. So I'm very keen on Starling. And I actually, to answer your question just before, I have Starling currently in my hooker spot currently.
Ooh, I like that. Moving on for the Bulldogs versus Penrith game. For the Bulldogs, there is a host of changes. So it starts off with Burton sliding into the centres to replace the injured captain, Stephen Crichton. Now, he's been named on the extended bench, so who knows what is going on there. There is a talk that the Bulldogs have too many out that they have to name him. But while he's there, he can technically still play, so who knows what the hell is going on. But watch out for Crichton in the extended bench there. Lachlan Galvin has been named at 6 because Toby Sexton is back and officially starts at halfback after making them look much better as soon as he came on the weekend. I think everyone in rugby league could tell that, apart from Gus Gould and Cameron Serraldo, but they've finally seen it. Bronson Cherry returns from concussion as well. He moves into the centre, and Reid Marnie earns a recall. Unfortunately, it's on the bench, which I anticipate surely they change that and he actually starts the game, but we will see. And Marcelo Montoya is on the extended bench, so keep an eye out for him. But by all reports, the last 2 days, his injury is a little bit more worse than they originally thought, so I can't see him playing. Ivan Cleary has stuck with the same 17. They got the job done. Just keep an eye on a guy who's in jersey 22, Mitch Kenny. I anticipate if he's okay, he will be definitely coming into that side because he makes a huge difference there. What are we thinking for this one, boys? Any Supercoach related things that aren't a guy called Nathan Cleary and having the C next to him?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, isn't it? I think. Look, as far as the Dogs go, I feel like it's the same situation that we've had with the Dogs all season, where they don't accumulate Supercoach points. If you're not Carraz or Preston, occasionally Kickout as well. But again, you look at the scores that they had, there was only 4 players that scored over 50. Karam 53. And then the rest was just pretty, for what was a pretty high scoring round overall, mediocre across the Dogs. And Carraz was a late addition. 87 points is their best. So again, if I'm going to pick anyone from the Dogs, it's going to be him. I think he gets his meters done and he gets his work done always, which is just Carraz. He's kind of the only guy that I'm tempted to get in my side out of the Dogs team as it stands.
Interesting.
There's a little play that I thought you would be making, actually, because I know you're absolutely in love with the bloke. Lachlan Galvin at 5'8", with Toby Sexton freeing him up a bit. I know it's against Penrith, which is the main reason I won't do it. But I know your love affair with the bloke at 6, Jesse. I'm actually surprised you haven't looked at him a lot more.
I looked at him, but then I just went with Strange because I just like Strange more, to be honest, at the moment, especially against the Sharks. But yeah, look, I was keen on him a bit last week as well, just thinking about how he was going to go in the 7. He's a good scorer. Like, Galvin's great. I've had him for pretty much all of 24 and then for a decent chunk of 25. It's just not screaming out to me. Like, he probably gets some stuff done, but how is he going to go play next to Sexton after everything that's happened this season in
Probably
a
feel
big
like
game?
a world's been lifted off his shoulders because he doesn't have to organise for once. He's like, oh, sweet. Go out
Now I
to
can
play a bit of
play.
rugby league.
Yeah.
Trav, you look like you had a few players that were popping off at you, Ben. Jesse mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, I'm really surprised you're not interested in Burton, and it hasn't been brought up. Burton on the weekend against the Storm got 81 when he got shifted into the centres, and I thought he was fantastic. Now he's going to have the whole game in the centres. It's literally the world's going to revolve around Burton. Sexton's going to be looking for him. I'm very keen to watch Burton and have him in my 5'8". So I've currently got Burton sitting in 5'8". For myself, I'm very high on that. I also like the matchup of Preston, and don't think that he's going to have a stinker this week. As much I get that it's Penrith, but I like the Preston matchup this week against Penrith, and I don't think Penrith's defense is as good as it has been in the past.
So he's up against what, Sorensen and
Sorensen.
McLean on his edge. Yeah, for sure. Like the Penrith edge has been conceding tries all year. If there's anyone that can score a try, it's Preston off the second row. So
Yep.
yeah, for a forward this week, 100% second row, definitely.
What about the Penrith side of things? Where are we looking? Obviously, Nathan Cleary is almost a set and forget. I think he's one of those guys this week that you just don't even try and go anywhere else. You just
who
he's
else
your halfback.
Who else? Like Nico Hines, I just think is going to take a step back. There's just no other. There's no other halfback. I'm not picking Fogarty this week. Like
there'll be people out there that try and be different. Just don't do it. Do not do it.
And don't pick Sexton.
Yeah. What about the rest of it? I'm actually pretty tempted on Edwards. I'll be saying that much. What about anyone else, Trav? Let you take Penrith first.
Yeah, so I've got Edwards in the fullback at the moment. And I do really like Toto this week. And those edges for the Bulldogs are cherry ripe for the taking. And I get that Carraz is there and he's going to be he's coming against Carraz, I think, isn't he? So if that's the case, Carraz is on one leg. Carraz is going to be good, but Carraz is on one leg. I don't think anyone can stop Toto.
He was feeling that leg quite a bit last weekend, and still got the Supercoach score that he got, which was pretty remarkable. Jesse, who's looking at you? I know you've got a guy, a forward that's really looking out at you and just staring you basically naked in the mirror.
Yeah. Is it IPAP? Has everyone come to again? He's finally back. I've been saying it all year. No, look, I've been very keen on Lindsay Smith, and in a week where there's very few front rowers that are not really screaming out to me, I feel like I just want to go that way. I've been so high on him for ages. Since the pod when we were talking about him and all these other things, and I haven't had him, and I just think now that I have opportunity, I'm just going to put him in. What's the worst he can get? It's a 60.
64
realistically
last week.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a safe, comfortable 60. I don't think you can really go wrong there. Very, very keen on Toto. Very keen on McLean as well. And then looking at the who's up against too. If you're looking at Rinakama and Burton on the left side, up against Tungo and Alamotti, they can make a score happen. Like they can put something huge on, but I just like the appeal of Toto and McLean too much. Especially McLean, like the guy just is a freak at the moment. He's scoring massive points for nothing. So I'm not super high on Edwards at the moment, but this week in particular, with the lack of fullback options, he's probably the best one, just by pedigree. So it just makes sense this week if you a bit dire on a fullback. But yeah, look, it's Cleary is the obvious halfback. There won't be another halfback I'll have this season. And if I take my Clapton off him, it's going to be a pretty ambitious one as well. So yeah, Lindsay Smith for me in the front row. Not so much else going on in the forwards, but yeah, Cleary, and then more than likely Brian Toto, probably Edwards too. Just got to cull one, I guess. Do you think it's through
I like
three?
it.
Yeah,
I'm very interested to hear both your thoughts because no one's mentioned Yo yet.
Can't fit him.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I can't. I've got Hudson Young in the second row, and there's a flex, but I'll talk to you about what it is. I like him. He's great, but I think Hudson Young's just going to have another blinder this week.
I think so as well. Yeah, I think when you look at who's available as an option, Hudson Young just has 20, 30 points extra in him, I reckon.
Just
Yeah,
on the
massive
tries,
upside.
just because of the try
Yeah.
scoring potential that he's got over what Yo's got.
Yep, definitely.
Like, well, his start last week was ridiculous. Try and a
Yes.
try assist. That's just
Yeah.
Hudson Young down to a T. Let's go in our teams then. That's team list done, guys. 2 games. I'll go first. I'll kick us off. I've got Brayley, Hooker, Tarpany, Young, Cleary, Strange, my 5'8". I've got Toe, Edwards, and I've got Kraz. So I've got 3 Raiders, 3 Panthers, a Shark, and a Bulldog. Jesse, what do you got?
At the moment, I've got Brayley as my hooker. I've got Lindsay Smith as my front row. I've got Hudson Young in my second row. At the moment, I've got the VC on him as well, but I suppose we'll get into VCs and Cs at the end.
Yes, we will be. Come on.
Yes, we will. I've got Cleary as my halfback. I've got Strange in my 5'8". I had Karaz in my centres, and I'm more keen on Toto over the 2. So I'm trying to work something out there. With my fullback slot, I was looking at Edwards for the position at the moment with things that aren't, very much subject to change. I've got Weeks in there. And then for my flex, I was just trying to work out who I could fit in. And I've got Nico in there at the moment, but I don't think I'll stick with him. So I'm a little bit off this week, but like Mulatalo's tempting me a lot. And I'm probably there's a good chance that he might be my flex potentially this week. And then I'll have to change something around to work a fullback in because I'll probably end up with Edwards as well. And I think that puts me on 4 Penrith players if I go for Lindsay Smith, Cleary, Toto. Can't get Edwards. So that's why I've got Weeks in there this week. So yeah, I'm sort of a bit all over the place. I tried to build a team quite late this afternoon. So yeah.
I'll ask you a question about your team. I know you've been big on Nico. What about Trindle? He's up against that weaker Raiders edge.
Never in a million years. Thank you. No.
I'll come back to this next week.
I'm not doing that. Yeah.
Trav, what's your team?
I am Starling at hooker at the moment. Tarpany front row, Young second row, Cleary halfback, Burton 5'8", Toto centers, Edwards fullback, Karaz flex. But
we had AFB.
Listening to no, I just said I'm very keen on AFB at this point. Yeah. Listening to what Joel's got, there's probably I don't want to be that similar, so I'm going to try and see where I can make some changes.
AFB,
have some fun with it. AFB's one of them, yeah. And then what I do in the flex might be a Mulatalo.
Seeing VC might play a big part, so.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the difference this week because there isn't a Walsh and a Teddy.
So I reckon we're all going to be very similar when we say it.
Start us off, Trav. What do you see in VC?
Young, C, Cleary.
Jesse?
Well, there you go. VC Young, C. This is what I'm on too. Shocking.
VC Edwards, C Cleary for me. I don't think Edwards can keep doing what he's doing. I think he's actually going to get ready to pop. There's starting to be some talk getting around about his Australian jersey, and there's been calls to Tedesco and Walsh and things like that already. I heard today on a podcast, Triple M. So I reckon Edwards might be starting to hear some things and going, you know what? It's time to literally just pull one out, and I reckon he's capable of doing it this weekend against this Doggies team that's looking a bit depleted.
So he needs to play well only now because he's worried about an Australian jersey. That makes sense.
No, well, it all comes together. Penrith powerhouse. It's up. It's going. Yeah, I love what I'm seeing from Penrith at the moment. I just don't think Edwards can keep doing what he's doing. I think
I like it.
Game pops, and this is the game. So I want to be all on that and get some double points out of it. So bring it on. Bring it on. But I'll be watching very nervously because Hudson Young looks so good at the moment. It's actually scaring the shit out of me. So getting his double points, I can see the appeal very much so. Is that it? Is there any other guys you could quickly want to go through about the V and C stuff, boys? Anything that pops out from what we've got?
VCs and Cs, I suppose everyone else is going to be, like you've got guys like that. Like you're just going to have to throw a VC, especially like the C with the triple points is, you've got to really get it right. But I feel like you can get, something a bit rogue with the VC. Toto's a mad shout. Mulatalo's a nice shout too for, high,
So you
big
can get
boom
a
potential.
try or two. That's
Exactly
like
right.
120.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like these guys, their base is so high with a try, it's a ton comfortably. So yeah, there is a couple wingers, I would say more than anything. They're the ones I like the most, to be honest.
It was Trindle's week last week, so is it a Nico Hines week this week? He might be a really good play as a pod play.
I don't
I
mind
heard
it.
that-
I had Hines in my flex, so like I really don't mind a Hines play. It's just you got to hope it's the week, and you think surely they've made it this far now. They don't usually make it this round. They've got every chance. Yeah, I've got to say something.
Hey, they beat your Roosters. Calm
I
down a
know.
little bit.
I don't feel
Pipe
great
down.
about it either. So that's why. Far out. It's Hines. He has to. He just has to. Surely, same as Edwards. He has to. He's got to be. He's got to be better than he has been. Yeah. Hines
The last
flex.
one then.
Theory.
I heard a few people last week do this. They went the VC on a safer option, as in like, well, Payne Haas isn't available, but would you go on like a Tarpany or someone to just secure like a good round of points? I know the way we play, we don't do that. We go for the fun. We go for the glory. But for anyone out there, do you like the C on, I guess, not a C, a VC on a Tarpany and secure your 75 or so and just double it and see you later?
Not when you got Young just there and you've got Cleary doing what Cleary's probably going to end up doing. I don't think so. If I was going to do like a safe 70, I'd probably put a VC on, say, like a Carraz, because he's going to get the work. Like he's just going to do it. Like he is going to get that because he just works his ass off, even off one leg. Like so I'd probably go that way instead of a Tarpany.
There's too many options that we've got to have a safe, and there was weeks in regular season Supercoach where I was not even playing reserve on Tarpany. So like there's not really a world where I'm going to VC him when we've got the potential of any one that we want playing this round. So yeah, for that safe, consistent, easy bread and butter points, even Brayley.
Yeah.
Even Brayley's going to get you 70 points pretty comfortably without much going on. So, but to Trav's point, if you've got Young, who just put out over a ton, 101 in the same team right there. Like you can just put it on him instead. And that's if you're going against the grain of putting your captain on Cleary. If you want to put the captaincy on someone, I don't even mind the captaincy on Young straight up. I think he can get enough done. So yeah, I just wouldn't. I think there's too much upside in this final series.
Mind it. He outscored Cleary last week, so not a bad shout at all. Anything else, boys?
Done and dusted. Good luck.
Good for me.
There you go. Done and dusted. Good luck, in the famous words of Trav. See you later.